In this episode, we read. Now back to reading. Welcome back, guys. He's looking away. Do we look at the higher building? Yeah, okay. Let's go to the court. Okay. This would be the courtyard, its large flat area bordered with ornate walls, decorative archways. The ground is overgrown and scattered with rubble, but I can clearly see that this used to be a wide, flat, open space. While the local woman is sitting at the foot of the stone steps with a collection of villagers lined around the crumbling walls. One of the archways here I know is diamond in shape, irregular for this particular kind of ruin, where any doorways or passages as standard are simple rectangles. I wouldn't think that's weird. I would think it's cool. Let's look at the walls. Villagers here are no doubt waiting for supplies to be delivered from the boats. Some of them will clear the rubble and brush, while others will have instructions from one of our team in stone rubbing to collect samples of the ornate and intricate engravings and carvings that decorate the stonework here. Some of the stonework really is exquisite. It's a pity that a section of the wall has crumbled and fallen, leaving the segment split in two, but with careful collection of the fallen stonework we can perhaps hope to reassemble the structure. Yep. Look at the diamond archway. Oh, that looks cool. I kind of wish I was there. I'm curious though, is this actually based off of real stuff? Because that'd be cool. The shape of this archway is not in keeping with the traditional structure of similar temples from this civilization, and the patterns surrounding it are equally as unfamiliar. I haven't before seen the wave-like decoration that stretches across the tip of the diamond. It perhaps indicates that the culture of this stretch of jungle worshipped some kind of snake deity. There is a stone-carved protrusion jutting from one apex of the diamond passage, but appears to be broken. Perhaps the workers will find the missing piece in the ground rubble. Oh. The woman here is panning through the rubble for tiny fragments of carved stonework. The structure behind her is partly overgrown and the stonework more eroded than the wall. Oh wait. Just a bit tray. Then the walls on the other side. I surmise that the wind must frequently blow storms in the direction and the stone has suffered significant weathering as a result. Look, good for you. Okay, take a closer look at the walls. Oh, I already have. Oh wow, we can keep going. This is without a doubt the most unusual temple we have encountered during our tenure and service of the university. The southern temple is heavily adorned with snake and snake-like ornamentation. I just can't read. At the stone steps, the columns and the patterns and reliefs on the walls. Look at the walls. Ooh, that is cool. The walls of this southern temple are decorated with intricately carved geometrical shapes that provide a stark background to the smooth curves of the snake-like figures they support. The heads of these creatures are crowned, suggesting the temple goers held this form in some reverence. Again, these shapes and motives are in stark contrast to what our team has found in other ruins in the area, and it seems more and more likely to me that the inhabitants of this place were a concealed or secluded cult. I feel very strongly that this compound represents a significant history. Probably examine the snake things. While the body of the creatures here carved easily resemble snakes, the heads of some are not fanged, and host wide-eyed, tongue-lolling expressions of delirium. They make me uneasy in looking at their bizarre faces. Let's look at the columns now. Okay. The smooth carved columns are inlaid with intricate patterns, and each extended base stone has been carved into the shape of a snake's head. The carvings are imposing despite the dullness of the fangs, and considering the relatively well-preserved condition of the rest of the carvings, I wonder whether the fangs were purposefully carved blunt. It didn't completely spell purposefully there. Or perhaps even defaced at some point. There are doorways beyond the columns, and though most are blocked with vines or rubble, one is enough to squeeze through. Did we ever look at the steps? Okay. The steps are flanked on each side by huge stone-carved snakes, their mouths gaping open as their heads come to rest across the ground. None of the other temples we have explored in the region use any kind of snake motifs. I find it utterly perplexing that we are finding such an abundance here, and yet not on every building present. Perhaps this indicates a derivation of religion or faith among the native culture. That, or this was taken over at one point. Right, we looked at the walls, looked at the carvings, looked at the steps, looked at the columns, and to the temple. Oh wow, we have a lot to read now. I pressed myself between the door frame and fallen stonework, thankful that I've always been rather slender of frame, and find myself at the beginning of a downward sloping passage. I follow the pathway, slipping more than once on stones that are wet and slick underfoot. Any other routes through the temple have long since been submerged by significant submergence. Okay, at the passage end that has left a large cavernous pool with deathly still water, illuminated by only a crack in the earth above, through which a narrow shaft of daylight filters. If possible, that we could have the workers construct a makeshift bridge across the pool. Perhaps what I see from this angle as solid vegetation conceals a further tunnel into the building. We could send for diving gear, but it would take a matter of weeks to arrive. Still, we will be occupied here for at least that long, and a thorough investigation of the complex will merit the way for proper equipment. Okay. It dawns on me that I have visited all of the temple's locations. I've yet to run into Harriet. I assume I've missed her in my wanderings. Now that we've both had an opportunity to survey the temple complex firsthand, we shall have to convene to discuss and finalize our plans for the coming week's proceedings. I shall go and look for her. Alright, now we have to find Harriet, so, where would she be? I can see long before reaching a small platform area that Harriet is not here. At its end, the woman and snake carving are still present, appear to be engaged in some heated debate. The younger woman's English is surprisingly proficient. Harriet is not here. Never mind. I shall ask the workers if they have seen her. At least. Check here. No sign of Harriet. They do not like the South Temple, Senor. They say the bad spirits are guarding the place. She was here this morning before you came. I wish she left and to look at the court. Okay. You're useful. Okay, oh, I'm gonna take a guess now. I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that she went in here and might fallen or something. I have no reason that I should have glanced at this particular part of passage well as I did. The walls are unremarkable, and I know this is from my previous visit. Flat, no carvings, nothing that I might want to look at again on second passing. But look, I have, perhaps from chance, perhaps forced by the hand of some cosmic force that bade me turn my head at this exact moment to see, in the light of the afternoon sun that trickles through the thinning jungle canopy, several bloody handprints pressed in red stains upon the pale stonework. The particular position of the prints unsettles something within me. A solid first imprint followed by two in quick succession conjures image of a person struggling along the passage, or perhaps resisting some pull and using the wall to brace against. Heart quickens, and I hurry along the remainder of the passage into the dark waters that are cavernous pool beyond. I called it! The daylight has shifted and now only barely illuminates the water. There are fresh footprints in the mud where the water quietly laps the surface, and I recognize Harriet's footprints and something else. Strange impressions, long and slithering, dragging through the mud, some bulky writh and leaving curious pock marks through their length. Look across the water, puzzled, creasing my brows as I scan the surface. The epic water shifts as I watch, as if something stirs beneath. In a moment of foolishness, I step closer to the edge. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. The light shines perfectly into the creature that crests the surface, and I gasp from excitement more than anything, and ashamedly forget about Harriet. In that brief instant, thoughts of finding her momentarily replaced by the possibility that our team will be lauded for finding the first brown species of freshwater octopus. And then I slip, and as I fall, the reason for my falling shifts inside my head, and I realize I did not slip. The water is icy cold and pushes the air from my lungs, and I am dragged under, thrashing downwards, downwards, downwards. Great. We just got grabbed by an octopus. I roll onto my stomach and cough up water from my lungs, and then, in a flash of remembering, I kick furiously with my legs and scrabble away from the water's edge. But whatever had me would have wrapped that icy, slick sucker tender around my leg has long gone. I peered up and deposited in some underground complex of caverns. A chute of water gushes from the wall behind me and deposits itself into another pool. Must be fed from the river. The torrent is too strong for me to attempt to return in that direction. I shall have to explore these passages. Continue. I am suspended in blackness. There is nothing within reach of my fingertips. None of the odd glowing moss, none of the hovering light-emitting spheres. I freeze, barely daring to breathe. And just when I'm sure that it's gone, when I can hear that chilling, slick, wet noise no longer, like a whip of coils, and flicks from the blackness just close enough for me to make out the monstrous suction cups and rows along its tendrils, and to smell the stale, dank briny air that emanates from its slime-crusted pores, and I am left again in darkness. Okay. A dark passage with exceedingly nondescript features, but that some pointed ceiling that I have noted in other passageways in this cavern complex. Harriet, can you hear me? Harriet? Etty? Dear? Nothing. This is fun. A large stone visage decorates the wall of this cavern. Huge eyes carved in hypnotic swirl, garbed in a headdress of serpentine shapes that extend towards and coat the walls in their slithering embrace. Okie dokie. It flashes across the passage before me, and strange yellow spheres of light that suspended from the ceiling catch the slickness of its hide briefly as it darts, nay, slithers across my vision, long tentacles whipping around the columns. Why did it not engage me? Did it perhaps not see, or is it fully aware of my presence? Does it know that I am helpless but to follow it, drawn irresistibly by the desire, the urge for knowledge of what it is? It's either Zago or Cthulhu. Come on. A dark passage with extremely that's the same. Okay, I step into a large rectangular cavern with chiseled walls, adorned with tiles and carved columns. Open doorways gape darkly, taunting me to enter, and as I timidly step closer, such shallow space, a slithering tentacle flickers across the opening. I stumble backwards and fall hard on the cobblestone floor. For a terrifying moment, my vision is black and full of stars, and when it clears, the monster's appendage is gone. The room is silent. For a while, I sit for a while, catch my breath, and then I hear it. Dude, why'd you get yourself into this mess? I stumble into an open cavern and almost fall into a vicious pool of pitch water. A phosphorescing moss coated in the walls affords an eerie light to this chamber, and in this odd green glow, I see the eyes surface from the water's depths and pause to regard me, as one long tentacle unwinds from beneath the surface and curls its languid way toward me. I hurriedly retrace my steps, stumbling backwards, refusing to turn away from the creature until I have left this dread space. In other words, nope, not happening, nope. Long, thin stalactites have convened so tightly in places that I am forced to traverse long distances looking for a passage through, or to crawl through low, tight spaces, or to press my body between whisper-thin gaps in the stone. On more than one occasion I have almost become stuck, and only through sheer force of will and determination to find Harriet have I managed to calm my nerves and think of a way out of a bind. I shall not rot in this cursed place. Okay. There is a thick, premeditating blackness here. It came upon me so suddenly that I cannot tell whether it's something admit to this specific area of passage, or whether I feel a fool for saying this. Though this is the impression I receive, there's some kind of light-denying mist that has purposefully sought me out, or has otherwise defiant attempt to block my view. I have managed to find a wall. By carefully stepping with my arms extended, I can feel the phosphorescent moss that I have noticed emitting light in some of the passages coating the surface here. Why does it not emit light? My eyes are playing tricks with me. I swear the blackness is shifting with even blacker shapes. I've been here before. I've definitely been here before. No, you haven't. I've wandered into a large hallway lined on each side with stone-carved benches and with a huge effigy Turtling at the far end of the vast space, its figure is humanoid, garbed in some I've read all this before. That's fine. It's behind me. I dare not turn around. It's been following me since I know it has. I've been wandering these passages for what feels like hours. The life and bright sunshine of the surface world are farther behind me with each step. The memories fading as this darkness, this dank place with its eldritch horrors and things I cannot name and dare not recognize takes their place. Perhaps I'm not even in the same world. Perhaps the lake beneath the South Temple was in fact a portal to another dimension, a different universe. That'll explain the creature or creatures I believe I have been seeing, wouldn't it? Or are there really things on our Earth that we have not yet found, or have not yet found us? We should never have come here. Rosa was right. We should have left. What if our presence was inadvertently awakened something horrid, something evil? I must stop having these thoughts and focus on the task at hand. I see on the walls the same serpentine carvings that decorate the surface structure of the southern temple, carrying the motif inside. Whoever's hands brought forth these chilling structures, they have been here where I am. They saw what I see now. Is this subterranean network from an older age, perhaps discovered by this civilization centuries earlier? Was someone lost down here, and did they find escape and take with them stories of strange creatures and tentacle carvings? Or are the artists of these slithering stone shapes below and above one and the same? Probably. Okay, read this before. Read this before. Read that before. Okay. A shape moves ahead of me and catches some ethereal lights as it slips into a side passage. I see it briefly and am caught between despair from having seen much of the bizarre and unnatural creature, and regret that it did not linger for me to study, for me to ascertain that what I suspect is in fact true, for it cannot be. In these dry passages, these dust-filled remnants of an ancient civilization long dead, there cannot possibly be what our people only know as an aqueous creature crawling, slithering along, unhindered by the lack of water or even, it would appear, by gravity. Curiosity battles my terror and wins, and with my pulse beating a frenzied march behind my ears, I force my feet to move and to follow the thing. Perhaps it is friendly in nature and attempting to lead me to my goal. The alternative is too terrifying to consider. Wow, okay. So many pictures. Alright. We'll be right back.